Our game will be set in a space station in the Caldari state, and the player will take the role of a ship painter, where they operate the space station by letting other ships from the Caldari state in, and for a price, you will paint each ship. To find out how to paint each ship, you will receive emails from characters in the EVE Online universe telling you which colors they want the ships to be and what emblems they would like on them. The player would then paint the ships accordingly, receive the reward, and spend the ISK they get to purchase emblems and upgrades for their CT-157 ship painting gun. Furthermore, the entirety of our game has a very black/grey color scheme, and we did this on purpose not only to fit in with the traditional idea of space and spaceships, and them being darker, blander colors to better match the color scheme of this game with more famous space ones, but also to enhance the experience of the painting itself, because by letting the player get used to the monochromatic scheme all around them, when they start painting, those colors will contrast much more heavily with the game world, really making them look and feel more special. The console found in our control room was heavily inspired by the computers from the 2017 game Prey, and what we liked most about them was the seamless transition between having a crosshair and having a cursor. To design the console, we took a look at Tracy Fullerton's 2019 edition of her book Game Design Workshop, where she discussed an experiment that she did that showed that certain subsets of gamers would get stuck on performing in-game tasks repeatedly rather than moving on with the game, because of the way in which the UI was displayed, and when she removed the UI from playtesting, playthroughs were much more smooth and meaningful, and we took this concept into account by embedding the shopping and mailing element directly into a diegetic, futuristic PC desk hybrid, which not only fits the EVE IP thematically, but it also will never bother the player as they can just access it by going to the control room physically. Moving on, we created the control room itself for a wide variety of reasons, like having a centralized hub where the player could start off in the game, creating a place that makes sense to start the console itself, and the fact that we have a room that is so far upwards compared to the rest of the hangar that it gives a very good view of the game world for the player, where they can admire the flying ship we have along with the beautiful skybox we found. The elevator perfectly complements this as it also is completely made out of a glass material, and we did this so the player could enjoy their journey to and from the control room by giving them a scenic view of the entire space station. All four of the NPCs are part of the EVE universe, and we chose to make them all have very different personalities to one another. We did this to add some narrative depth to the game and really make it feel like the player is in a living world with real people. Each NPC has their own email and live text box, where the email is the first time that the player meets the NPC, and the text box is where they see them in-game for the first time. And we hid all of the NPCs from the player until they have completed the previous contract, not only so that they focus on painting one ship at a time, but also because it makes much more sense logically, as ship painting takes a long time for just one player character, and you would therefore only be able to take on one contract at a time. ISK is the currency used by EVE, where transactions commonly go over the 100,000 ISK cost, and we have implemented both of these aspects to really make sure that we have properly conveyed the EVE IP. Furthermore, the economy system of the whole game has been balanced in such a way that if the player manages to complete all of the contracts, they would have enough money to purchase all of the one-time radius sizes, patterns, and stencils, and still have enough ISK left to buy more than a few paint refills. And we did this so that the player doesn't have to worry about being too careful in the use of their paint to save money, and they can instead just unleash their full creativity on each chip as freely as they please to make the experience of a playthrough feel more like a Zen game. When discussing the patterns and stencils and why they look that way, we can say that for the patterns, we were mostly limited to finding ones that are famous in the real world, like a camo pattern, or ones that would be easy to find and convert to alphas so that they could then be used in our game, like the zebra pattern. And when talking about the stencils, we wanted them to represent the emblems for each of the four NPCs, and we designed them in a way so that the emblems match the personalities of each NPC, and we felt that this really enhanced the cohesiveness of our game and its feeling of the world itself is alive, and you as the player are a part of it.
The next part of the video will cover the functionality of primary UI system after implementing it into the engine. Additionally, an example of contractor ship flying into the hangar, as we believe it would make it feel more active vault as well as serve as minor navigational aspect. Returning to the UI, our inventory system consists of four elements: patterns, stickers, colors, and database. Due to technical issues we faced, the database is currently unavailable. Our game is all about player expressing themselves through the painting in the boundaries we set as designers. To fulfill that, a player needs access to numerous options our inventory provides. As our topic consists of diverse selection of possible things, we made relatively small sprite items to make it possible to see all of owned items in one table, providing more straightforward inventory management. Additionally, dark color was chosen to fit within EVE's online universe. Furthermore, a clear stock structure minimizes the stress of looking for desired items, as everything is reachable through minimal input, enhancing the Zen experience. A separate 4 items table is provided next to each inventory section. These tables give access to in-game UI inspired by Crysis video game, allowing the player to modify its paint gun with selected items without exiting gameplay, and it consists of 4 wheels, each with assigned role. To help us design this, we looked at the book Design Interface: Patterns for Effective Interaction Design, which helped us understand how proportions are vital to the placement of UI elements. They are managed using mouse input. Select ring size is increased. Selection happens according to the mouse position on the screen, and rings uh, con are controlled with mouse scroll wheel. The player is able to preset their own combinations according to their personal taste. Finally, from technical point of view, 3 scripts manages the UI. The first script clones item from inventory table into the ring. The second script handles their properties, and the third script is assigned to the object itself and provides functionality according to its name. In our initial idea, we strongly aim for satisfying experience in transition with different parts of the painting process, achieved through quick access wheels we implemented into the engine.
The inspiration of the navigational lines on the walls came from Half-Life, the purpose, an easy and clear way to store information. In the book's rules of play, information is described as the knowledge that is manipulated, acquired, and revealed during play. These lines serve the purpose of giving information to the player for the benefit of navigating between the hangars and control room. The lines have vibrant and clear colors and are different so the player can understand the lead. This section was intentionally made with glass walls so the player can see outside and understand where they are in the universe. The first hangar design was loosely modeled after jet fighter hangars, more open space with holding equipment. The ships inside are close to all player viewpoints for easy painting access. The second hangar has grown progressively bigger for player challenge. The ship is almost wrapped around the level for easier access for the player to paint, while also on the other side the machinery serve the same purpose. The third hanger wraps completely the ship. We wanted to imitate the look of how a Navy ship would be dry docked in real life, with machinery placed to elevate the player to inaccessible parts like the bottom. The fourth and personal hangers have been made this way also, so it covers and wraps the ships in all sides for easy access to paint, with additional machinery helping in hanger 4. The overall feeling and experience of the painting mechanics we have is been inspired by games like Power Wars Simulator. We looked at Ian Bugger's 2011 How to Do Things with Video Games, and he describes Endgame's experience relying on the controls, which is what I believe Power Wars Simulator does great. We found the base of our painting system in the asset store and implemented it for our use. When using stickers, the player can only tap them as they're not supposed to be used for general painting. Normal patterns are intended for continuous use. All RGB colors are available to the player for preference. Patterns like normal circles are for general spraying and detailing, the strip line for covering larger areas, and patterns like camo and zebra are to be used in an enlarged mode and give a unique shape. Players can change colors of all stickers for preference. The cursor is rotatable so the player can see the orientation of the painting. However, in the current build, it doesn't correlate it directly due to the painting system not being originally built to account for this. The intelligent experience is that the player must get close to paint. However, as previously discussed, the system was not made to account for this, and there is no range as there should. The first ship is modeled after the Raven class ship from EVE Online. The second ship is modeled after the Tempest class from EVE Online. All the black areas in the ship indicate unpaintable sections. Third ship is modeled after the Tristan ship from EVE Online. Fourth ship is modeled by the Dominic's class ship from EVE Online. All ships will be made by dividing ProBuilder objects into planes. The way the painting works is it accesses the UV and sprite of an object and directly changes the sprite. For the painting to be cohesive throughout the model, I had to divide and directly changing the UV mapping.